If you are rolling out a critical mass of digital infrastructure, there has to be a commensurate level of digital skilling among the population. So within this context, we are not just focusing on the public sector. We are focusing on the entire population. For a start, we started by deploying devices and undertaking training in TVET institutions targeting the youth. But now we are going to the extra mile to set up digital hubs within the villages themselves. We are going to do a total of 1,450 digital hubs in Kenya where we are undertaking the training of the youth on digital skills. We are connecting internet, deploying the devices, we do the training, and we connect the youth to digital jobs or leveraging on the platforms for digital job opportunities which are available online. We will go the extra mile also to integrate public officials, considering the fact that we are already digitalized over 16,000 services which are now available technologically. The net effect of this is that government will be leveraging on technology for purposes of service delivery to the Kenyan public. And therefore, all public servants must have the requisite level of technical skills that is required to enable them utilize the digital infrastructure that we are deploying. We are also, in the same way, digitizing all the government records. That will also ensure that we have got adequate skills within the records management space. In the public sector, some of the areas where we have moved with speed and diligence to deploy technology to enhance efficiency and effectiveness include health. We are doing e-health. The revenue services, we are strengthening our revenue collection and management systems. The passports and border control, registration of births and deaths, just to mention but a few. Equally, as at 30th October last year, we launched our first open university, which is domiciled at our Konza Technopolis cloud platform. This again is going to give us an enormous opportunity for all Kenyans at all levels to be able to leverage on technology for purposes of digital skilling, among other various disciplines. So we have got people who are not able to acquire digital skills based on affordability all over Kenya now are able to log in and learn through that virtual university platform. As at now, we already have an enrollment level of 1,500. On the digital skilling for the youth, since we started these programs last year, between last year and now, we have managed to train 390,000 youth. In equal measure, we have managed to create 139,000 digital jobs for the youth. We have embarked on local assembly of smart-enabled telephones. As at now, we are going for a unit cost of $50. That plant has so far churned out 294,000 units of the phones over the past 6 months, and the market has already absorbed or consumed 168,000 of those units. That just clearly shows you the level of demand, and it goes to strengthen the fact that connectivity is only useful if it is universal and inclusive. Okay, so we must think of having smartphones in the hands of everybody. As we roll out the fiber, the internet, and all this, because we want to break the barriers and move together as an African continent, where fiber rolled out in Kenya should be fed into the fiber rolled out in Tanzania and Rwanda, for example. We must also, from a policy regulatory perspective, also start thinking of certain guidelines that would give us the requisite quality, yeah, so that we move in tandem. Because fiber, for example, is fiber, but not all fiber is fiber. So we must start thinking of quality, minimum standards. So that's another discussion that we need to have, so that we move in tandem. So maybe moving into the future, we need to start thinking of that. Operational guidelines, quality standards, as we roll out the digital infrastructure, so that each and every country is not doing its own thing, which is not feeding into what the other country is doing by way of minimum standards of quality. Discussion we need to have is in the space of digital identity. Each and every country is already thinking of how to have a virtual mechanism of confirming the identity of people. But if that is the case, I think sooner or later we need to start embarking on the discussion on a digital identity for Africa. Yeah? To facilitate virtual identification across the entire continent, because we are thinking of one continental digital economy. And if that is the case, we should also start thinking about e-commerce platforms for Africa, not just each and every country doing its own thing, but not feeding into the other.